Hello, welcome to Weather the Storm Severe Weather Alerts for June 23, 2019. Here's an overview of the United States. We got some storm activity once again from northern Minnesota down through western Wisconsin, Iowa, Arkansas, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. And you can see there's kind of those multiple red squall lines. I was reading about a storm that came through the other night that had similar these reds here that are kind of going through in lines. And apparently it covered 1,000 miles and there were 3 deaths. No tornadoes, just really high winds, knocking over trees, etc. So they've got all this flooding in the middle of the country here. Big stories for today are over here, Rakot, I believe, these Russian islands, series of islands, archipelago, I think they call that. Big eruption volcano, ash plume up to, well, first they said 43,000 feet, then they downgraded to 40,000 feet. But it doesn't matter because apparently at 33,000 feet is where, once the ash gets in the atmosphere at that height, it can stay there for years, which then some people think that causes either, well, some people think it causes more cooling, some people think it causes more warming because the clouds trap the heat, some people think it causes increased cloud nucleation or creation of new clouds with more particles in them, so there's more particles for precipitation to attach to and cause things like rain and hail. But the big story is between that volcano and between the United States now. Oh, I should mention too, this this volcano. They're saying that well, we're too far south here. They're saying the ash plume is going up here to Alaska. So we've already had cool air coming down here and causing basically winter to continue in the mountains here, with even snowing on the first day of summer. So, it'll be interesting to see how that affects things. Will it make it warmer? Will it make it cooler? I don't know. It is dangerous to breathe in that volcanic ash, but it should be high enough so that it shouldn't matter, I wouldn't imagine. But what I wanted to say was it's coming. So ash plume's coming up here, and then meanwhile, the volcano's over here, and then meanwhile we've got earthquake swarms here for the last 24 hours. Off the coast of Oregon, not far off. In the last 24 hours, there have been quite a few earthquakes, maybe like 12 or so. This one was at 9:12 p.m., magnitude 3.1. Series of earthquakes strike off Oregon coast. There are 8 quakes in total. Well, that depends on who you ask. If a person was watching that area carefully, they might have a different opinion. So far, at least 8. And the largest one they're saying was a 5.4 magnitude, which means it probably was more like a 6. So those are going off, and then now we've got a new one off the coast of California, 5.6. That's pretty significant. 6:22, 10:53 p.m. So let's get to our severe weather alerts. So basically, in this whole area where they're having these storms, they're having flash flood warning, severe thunderstorm watch, and flash flood watches. Basically, that's like the office of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, where else here? Missouri. This is going to tell us where the alert's coming out of, but it's either that's Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Nebraska probably, and the whole green area too is also probably flash flood watches. 13 hours remaining on that. So that's a pretty large area, and then all the red is actually, that's where rivers are flooding right now. If you look at these things, what I think is, what if, it's kind of like connect the dots. What if each one of these little rivers just swelled a little more on each side, and pretty soon, basically, you're having a lot little lakes forming. Like there would be one here. All this has to happen here. Is this has to close here, and then this is surrounded by water. So, be careful where you choose to put down roots, and where you guide your children to go put down roots, because these people have been in this now for going on 3 months, and all through here, all this, basically this over here in Kentucky and Indiana, this is kind of newer river flooding. This is pretty recent too. It's supposed to be spring flooding and then you're supposed to like have it for a few days, a river crest, and then it goes back down. Well, this is persistent, and it doesn't really seem to be stopping. Not yet, anyway. So there's that going on up here. Uh, we've got aerial flooding, Michigan, and also on some other maps, they're showing Detroit has some of the same warnings. So basically, from here to here, it's flood warning, and you know, once again, that's a pretty large area, and if this area all floods in here, then you got an island up here basically. So okay, we're gonna switch sources here for a little better view. Um, this is Western United States, Phoenix. I believe this is a heat advisory, or oh no, it's air quality warning. Denver, this gray outline, the white area right here, this is frost and freeze advisory, and I think it's the third day of summer today. Green, that's all flooding. This blue area right here, Wyoming, that's flooding. Green in Nevada and Idaho, that's mountain river flooding. Let's go on to our next one here. There's the Phoenix air quality alert. There's the freeze warning, Pueblo, Colorado, expires Monday at 9 a.m. River flood warning, Hanna, Wyoming, right there, west of Cheyenne. There's the flood warnings all through Colorado and central U.S. There's a flood warning. Look there. Down here, Houston, I believe this is blue area, is a heat warning. The purple area is disturbed and troubled water warnings, high winds, riptides, small craft advisories. Again, up here, the same thing, small beach hazard warning, stay out of the water. Riptides, undercurrents have been really bad this year all over the country. So there was a story of a little girl ducking her head under the water, and 36 hours later, they hadn't seen her. So something to be aware of. There's the flood warnings up there in Michigan, and on the other side in Detroit. All the greens are flood warnings. Let's keep moving on here. This is the Duluth beach hazard warning, and really, this is almost all over the country right now. Dangerous swimming conditions, high wave action, swimming can be difficult. Also, waters are cold. There's that Detroit, Michigan lakeshore flood warning, Miami, Florida heat advisory. Let me go up to the East Coast here to Portland, Maine. This is again beach hazard warnings. The air is warm, the water's cold, and they're having dangerous riptides and undercurrents. So basically, what we have is fire over here. We got rock and roll over here. We got dangerous waters here, 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 here. We got fire here and here. We got ice here, water here, and here, and here. So, and air quality there. So that's the quick and dirty. And what it all adds up to is vegetable prices rising at the fastest pace in 3 years. That's an article from the Ice Age Farmer. He posted. Have a good one.